I once thought he was my savior, but I never expected he would almost destroy me. Chapter 21 String Cheese. I opened the car door after Daniel pulled up into the parking lot of a nearby grocery store. There weren't too many cars around, it was pretty early. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Daniel took a deep breath before stepping out of the truck. I watched him walk over to me after looking around for any nearby people. I held back a laugh when I noticed his skirt was lifted up from the back. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He asked suspiciously. You might want to fix your skirt from behind, I said with a teasing smile. He quickly bent his neck backwards to get a good look at his ass. Oh, shit, he cursed before quickly flattening the skirt with his hands. He sighed and mumbled, Why did I let you do this to me? Let's just go inside already, I said before he took my hand and we walked inside. As we entered, the security guard said, Welcome to Frank's Grow, but stopped mid-sentence when Daniel and I walked in. I noticed Daniel tried behind me, which wouldn't work since he was bigger than me. We should just hurry and get what we came for, he told me as he got a cart for our groceries. We started at the cereal aisle. He stopped for a second to think. Then he quickly picked up at least 9 boxes of different cereals and threw them all into the cart. I knitted my eyebrows together in concern. He noticed and said, This accounts for half of our meals. You know those animals don't know how to cook. I opened my mouth to speak, but sighed and pushed the cart forward instead. After we reached the aisle with packaged food, he stopped and tossed a whole 40-pack of microwave beef burritos inside, as well as a lot of instant noodles. You know, I'm starting to think I should be worried for you guys. We've lived like this for a while now and we turned out fine. That's debatable, but sure. Daniel went quiet for a while. Then I noticed he turned and smirked at me. Race you to the end of the aisle. Then he quickly took off. Hey, that's not fair. I have the cart with me. He gave me no mercy, so I pushed the cart forward with all my strength and quickly hopped onto the railing part at the bottom. The aisle was too long, and I saw him stop once he reached the end. I was going to fast and quickly put my foot down to stop, but failed and accidentally knocked him over with the car. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He sat up and rubbed the arm that was impacted by the shopping cart. A little warning would have been nice. Sorry, I was busy trying to catch up to you, I replied sickly. He laughed and asked, Can you help me up? He offered me his hand. I took it and tried my hardest to pull him up, but he was pretty heavy. What have you been eating? I can barely add if I started, but got cut off when he pulled me down onto the floor with him. He caught me in his arms, and I'm pretty sure he did it in a way that I wouldn't get injured. Hey, why do you do that? It's payback for running me over. Princess, I didn't run you over. I just lightly tapped you with the cart. He raised a brow at me. Lightly tapped? Honey, you knocked me over like a bowling pin. I shrugged and said, Sorry, though it came out as more of a question. He smiled and pulled me into his chest. Don't worry about it. It didn't actually hurt. As if a measly shopping cart could injure me. I laughed and closed my eyes as I wrapped my arms around him. Hugging him had to quickly become one of my favorite things in the entire world. As much as I love this, I don't think cuddling on the floor of a grocery market in a skirt is the best idea. I pulled away and met his eyes. Yeah, you're right. He placed a kiss on my forehead before swiftly standing up, remembering to smooth in his skirt this time. He extended his hand to me and carefully pulled me up. If we want to finish sooner, we should split up. I have somewhere I want to take you afterward, he said as he tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. I smiled slightly at his unconscious yet confident movement. I wondered where he wanted to go, but I decided not to ask. I was busy being disappointed in myself for feeling sad that we would separate, even if it was only for a few minutes. Is there anything you want me to get? I asked him. I wanted us to watch a movie once we got home, so could you get some snacks for us? They should be down that way in aisle 4. Also, while you're there, could you get around 12 of those packaged macaroni boxes? Lucas really likes those. Sure. Where are you gonna be? We really like our meat, so we'll be getting a lot of that. I know what I want though, so it shouldn't take long. I'll meet you over there, he responded. I nodded and said, I'll head over there now. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I turned and looked up to the signs that read the R names. I figured the boxed macaroni fell under packaged goods, so before going to aisle 4 I took a turn to aisle 3. I looked around until I found the boxes that read, Quick and easy macaroni and cheese. I took 12 of the boxes like he asked. I found it hard to believe he wanted this many. I nearly wiped out the entire supply. I'm really starting to wonder how they survive on so much packaged and instant food. I didn't know they had been living like this. I struggled to carry all the boxes, but I managed to pile them into 2 stacks. I just had to walk carefully so they wouldn't fall over. I was beginning to wish I had taken the cart with me. I turned to the next aisle, which he said should have the snacks. I nearly ran into a station shopping cart with all the boxes getting in the way of my vision. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left that there. I immediately looked around the stack of macaroni boxes in front of me after hearing that familiar voice. I was met with a surprised face when our eyes met. Lauren, asked Anthony. Hey, I greeted with a smile. I would have waved, had my arms not been holding 12 boxes of mac and cheese. He looked to the stack in my arms and quickly stepped towards me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Let me help you with those. And before I could say anything, he had taken them from my arms and placed them of the top section of his cart. You can leave them here for now. Meanwhile, you get what you're looking for. Thanks. He smiled back brightly. No problem. What are you doing here? I asked him. Me and a couple of friends from the university are planning to sneak in some snacks to the theater. They're waiting in the car meanwhile I buy the snacks. They're a bunch of lazy idiots. And what are you doing here? Hold up, shouldn't you be in school? I awkwardly scratched the back of my head. I kinda had a bit of an accident. What happened? Are you okay? He questioned worriedly. I quickly tried to think of an excuse, until I remembered that he already knew about me. Yeah, it was a big old werewolf mess. I'm okay though. I heal pretty quick. I reassured him. I'm glad you're okay. Does that have anything to do with why Carly was so upset when she got home? Carly was upset? Oh no, I completely forgot to call her anything. She must be wondering what happened to me. I quickly got worried, until a memory came back and a cold sweat ran down my back. It was hazy, but I remembered baring my teeth at her when Alex took control. I remember her calling out my name, and how I almost attacked her. I would have to if it was for Daniel who interfered. I was angry at myself for not being able to control Alex, who nearly attacked Carly. I should have been able to do something about it. How could I let that happen? Lauren, are you okay? Anthony worried as he held the top of my arm gently. I'm sorry. I mumbled when I remembered what he told me before at the park. He never wanted Carly to find out because it was dangerous for her. To make it worse, it was my fault she almost got hurt when I should have been the one protecting her. He placed his hand on my head and ruffled up my hair. What are you sorry for? Cheer up to make sure you talk to Carly soon. You haven't been around as much. So she's been lonely. Anthony's hand stopped moving and his eyebrows drew together in confusion as he looked behind me. I didn't have to turn to know Daniel was behind us. Not only did Anthony's reaction to Daniel's outfit give it away, but his growing scent as well. I felt an arm around my waist and was quickly pulled into Daniel's side. Anthony's hand quickly dropped from my head as he looked at him in disbelief. He looked back to me and smiled weakly. You found your soulmate? Why, yeah. I didn't exactly understand why, but it was hard for me to answer him. I'm happy for you. Though both that and his words seemed a bit forced. He checked his watch and said, I've already been in here for quite a while. The guys are waiting and the movie starts soon, so I should be going. Okay. Have fun. I told him. I will. He looked towards Daniel. It was nice meeting you. My name's Anthony. Make sure you take good care of her. Daniel, he replied with a soldier salute. And I will. He carried the macaroni boxes and transferred them to Daniel's cart. I'll see you some other time. Take care. And enjoy your mac and cheese. Anthony said before turning and leaving. After he was gone, Daniel asked, does he go to our school now? Achias Carlyle's older brother. I didn't know she had one. I can kind of see the resemblance. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nelben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading Kishut's enthusiasm. I'm sorry. He spoke again after a while, but I couldn't help getting jealous again. I know I don't have anything to worry about with you, but I couldn't control it. I did get a bad feeling about how he might feel towards you, but my jealousy might be clouding my judgment. I know how emotional our wolves can be. You didn't let it control you, and I admire you for that. He smiled and kissed my forehead. You're such a sweet talker, princess. I sighed and said, you know what? I'm never complimenting you again. Oh, come on. You can't do that. Don't make me slap you with some string cheese. He laughed. Where did string cheese come from? I saw some in the dairy section. Don't make me chase after you with it. You know, we should just get our snacks and leave. He laughed nervously. That's what I thought. Extra, and stunner my heart sank when I saw the arm of another male wrap around Lauren's waist. I immediately remembered what Jason had told me around 2 years ago when I found out he was a werewolf. When a werewolf turns of age, they find their mate, the person they're meant to be with. It's a very special bond, usually only broken by death, was what he said. I figured she found him, the person she was meant to be with, her soulmate. My heart clenched painfully at the sight of the two together. At that very instant, all my hopes were crushed. I felt a burning in my eyes and knew I had to get out of there immediately. I quickly left and paid for my stuff, taking a few deep breaths once I was outside. I closed my eyes for a few seconds and pushed back the tears I felt beginning to form. I'm such a crybaby, but I couldn't believe I lost her. I lost the girl who was never meant to be mine. Anthony, hurry the fuck up or we're gonna miss the movie. I opened my eyes and saw everyone in Jason's car looking at me. Ryan and David, who were in the back, were yelling at me to hurry up while Jason waited quietly from the driver's seat. I walked to the black car with the bags in my hand. I threw the bags into the back through the open window. Oh, whined Ryan. That shit's heavier than it looks. Man, I took my seat on the passenger's side. Once I closed the door, Jason immediately started the engine, with the two cracking jokes in the back and Jason's focus on the road. My mind began to wander to the simple past. The first time I saw Anne, she was a 13-year-old broken mess. She arrived at our house with ragged clothes and tired eyes. Carly was looking for her hamster who ran away when she ran into Lauren from her school. According to Carly, she hadn't shown up to school for over a week the whole time she had been out on the streets, wandering aimlessly. Meanwhile, Carly went to bring our currants in a change of clothes for her. I asked her why she didn't show up to school. I didn't want him to find me. She answered with a shaky voice. I gently took her arm when I noticed a bruise. I analyzed it and noticed there was not only one bruise, but several on her arm. Some recent. Other were yellow color and looked to be older. She quickly pulled her hand back and attempted to hide them with her hands. I felt terribly for this girl who stood before me, scared and bruised. Likely from a parent. Carly arrived with a change of clothes and our parents. Mom quickly ran to her and kneeled before her. She worriedly asked, "Oh, honey, are you okay? Where are your parents?" She was silent before quietly answering, "They're both dead." Hearing her say this made me feel even worse for her. She must have been through a lot. "Oh, I'm so sorry. Who watches over you?" "I should call them immediately," Mom replied. When my mom said that, she jumped in fright. Uncle is not around right now. He is on a business trip, she said quickly. Her uncle? He must be the one who made those bruises on her body. Hearing that made me angry. How could he do that to his innocent niece? Can she stay here? Carly asked, somewhat excitedly. But Carly, she has to go home. There must be someone anxiously waiting for her to arrive, said my dad. But her uncle is away. She's been alone. Maybe even for weeks. She fought back. Is this true? Asked Mom. She nodded slowly. Mom gently placed a hand on her cheek. I'm sorry it's been that way. If you have no one at home, you can stay here with us for tonight if you would like. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilbay, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She can stay? Carly asked excitedly. She can, Mom replied. Yai Carly cheered. She grabbed her hand and quickly took her upstairs. She took her into her room, where she let her shower and change her clothes. Meanwhile, my parents discussed what might have happened to the poor girl from Carly's school. I went upstairs into Carly's room. We waited for her to come out. When she did, she shyly opened the door and peeked out. You don't have to worry. I don't bite. Well, only if you bite me first. Lauren opened the door and smiled at what Carly said. It sent my heart racing. She had the most adorable smile I had ever seen. Carly ran over to her and hugged her tightly. Don't do that or I'll fall in love with you. But we barely know each other. Oh, right. My name's Carly. That weirdo over there's my brother Anthony. What's your name? Laura Ann Arrington, she said shyly. Oh, I forgot my last name. And since we're siblings, Auntness is Rose too. Although it doesn't fit Anthony, I think it goes better with my name. She stuck out her tongue at me and continued rambling. It's my mom's last name, since my dad has a really weird one. Good thing my mom didn't allow him to give us his last name. Carly, relax. You're going to scare her. Completely ignoring me. Oh, you must be hungry. Are you? She nodded. A little bit. I'll be right back. Carly shouted as she ran out of the room and downstairs into the kitchen. I had sat down on Carly's bed. She looked at me, and when she caught me already staring, she smiled back. Why is she so adorable? I patted the spot next to me on the bed, prompting her to sit next to me. Is that okay? Of course it is. She slowly approached me and sat beside me. She looked down and played with her thumbs, something that I would soon learn is one of her habits when she's feeling shy. I know Carly's a little too energetic, but that's the way she is. Plus, she's really excited to have a friend over. She smiled. I think it's a good thing that she can have so much energy. I really like her already. I instinctively ruffled up her hair. She closed her eyes and puffed out her cheek. Once I stopped, she held her head and pouted. Hey, don't do that. I didn't fail to notice was turning red. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilbay, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Sorry, but you'll be doing that often from now on. This girl who Carly brought home unexpectedly had arrived in torment. The moment I saw her, I felt like I had to protect and shelter her. I thought I would be like an older brother, but I soon realized that wouldn't be possible for me. But she doesn't need me to protect her anymore. She has someone who she shares a strong bond with. Someone who will protect her no matter what. I knew I wouldn't be the one looking after her anymore. And that hurt more than I would have ever imagined. Another memory came into mind. I was 17 and she was 15. I was laying in my room, playing a game on my phone when she walked in. She came up to me and asked, "Hey, do you know where Carly is?" When I woke up, she was gone. I looked up momentarily. I thought she looked cute, with her bedhead and still sleepy eyes. I quickly looked back to my phone and continued my game. She's probably taking a massive shit. We did have some spicy tacos yesterday. Now shut up. I'm battling the final boss right now. I can't lose. Should I go help her? I don't think she wants any help with that. Something was suddenly thrown in through my window and landed on the floor. What the hell was that? I almost got a heart attack when it started to beep. No way. Is it? Get down. I shouted before I tackled Lauren to the floor. I tightly closed my eyes and shielded her with my body. A few seconds passed and nothing happened, so I slowly opened my eyes. It didn't explode. I nearly fell on top of Lauren when I saw her trapped under me. Our faces were close, and it could have been so easy to just kiss her. But I didn't. She smiled and said, "Silly. Did you think it was a bomb? It's just Carly's phone." What? Why the hell did her phone come in through the window? Even if it was a bomb, rather than lay on the floor next to it, wouldn't it be better to run away? I felt my face begin to heat up. Shut up. I didn't have time to think. Lauren and I both turned when we heard music play from the game on my phone. It signaled my defeat. Sorry. You kinda lost because of me. You were on the final boss too. Do you really think I would rather win a game than save you if there really was a bomb? She shrugged. I flicked her forehead. Don't be so stupid. Hey, Anthony. Is the giant wasp still on top of my phone? Carly shouted from outside. I stood up and helped Lauren off the ground. I picked up Carly's phone from the floor and headed to my window. She was standing outside with a rat on her shoulder. Why is there a rat on her shoulder? It began to nibble on her neck and she giggled. Ricardo, there's a pedophile watching. You can't do that, she said playfully. What the actual fuck? I threw her phone out the window. Towards her. Here's your phone back. I watched as it hit her right on the forehead. OWW, you're gonna pay for that. Horseface. She pointed at me. Ricardo. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The rat attempted to run and jump, but only made it a feet and fell right onto the cement. He was motionless now. No, Ricardo. Are you okay? Carly. In on the second floor. Did you really think? Shut up. It's your fault ATS dead. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Why did I have such a weird sister? Lauren came up from behind me. She shook her head and said, I told her it would only end in heartbreak. She never listens to me. What exactly was going on with Carly and that rat? Hey, hello. Are you even listening to me? I blinked and looked behind me to the back seat. David was calling me. Who knows for how long? Do you want a movie hop? How do you want to go from one movie to the next? It's not like they actually check your tickets. Oh, I replied. I don't really have time for that. My class starts at 12. Oh, you're no fun. He pouted. I looked forward and noticed Jason glance at me out of the corner of his eye. Hey man, are you okay? He looked at me and asked, before quickly turning his attention back to the road. I smiled sadly. I think I fell in love with someone I shouldn't have. Chapter 20 to Pegasus. After we left our groceries in the car, Daniel took us to a nearby ice cream shop. I had a hard time choosing which flavor. Should I go for strawberry? Oh, what cookie dough is good too. He hugged me from behind and lightly kissed my neck, making my Wolfheart expert in delight. Can you choose already? We've been here for 10 minutes and the server is still waiting. No, please take your time, he said politely, even though it sounded forced, and the expression on his face was pleading us to leave already. Okay. I'll just go with strawberry. The server immediately started scooping the ice cream into a cup. When he was done, And what would you like, sir? Her, he replied as he buried his face into my neck. I elbowed his stomach and scolded. Answer seriously. Whose name tag read Pascal? Mumbled. This is why I'm gay. I tried not to laugh. Once again, I had something I shouldn't have. Daniel must have heard it because I felt him laugh quietly against my back. He'll just take what I always get, cookies and cream. On a cone, please. With rainbow sprinkles and chocolate syrup. Oh, and make sure there's 6 blue ones, 5 pink ones, 3 yellow ones, and 12 white ones. I visibly saw particles I begin to twitch. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm, he said in a high-pitched voice, obviously annoyed but still trying to be polite. After serving the ice cream, he poured the chocolate syrup before individually counting the sprinkles and putting them on Daniel's ice cream. He handed it to him and said, "Anything else, sir? Did you wash your hands before touching my sprinkles? I swear to God. Just leave already." Sending Daniel and I into laughter. Daniel paid and in between laughter said, "Keep the change." I was able to calm myself once we were outside the shop. "Why are we so good at annoying the shit out of people?" I asked with a grin. "It comes naturally since it's one of our many talents. Don't question it," he replied with a smile. He took my hand in his. "Come on," he said before leading me to a nearby park. Once we arrived. "By the way, what's the backpack for?" After leaving the groceries in the car, he picked up a backpack from under his seat and swung it onto his shoulder. "Can you hold this for a second?" Daniel asked before handing me his ice cream. He opened the backpack and pulled out a blanket. He extended it under a nearby tree under the shade. "That's what it's for," he replied. After we both sat down, I gave him back his ice cream. This was beginning to feel familiar. First ice cream, then stopping at a park to eat it. It reminded me of that time Anthony started giving me driving lessons, but I quickly pushed all thoughts of Anthony out of my head. Daniel scooted closer to me and wrapped an arm around my shoulders. "So you always get cookies and cream?" "To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "You don't want to try other flavors?" "Why, when I already know I like cookies and cream. But there's other flavors just as good. But there's also flavors I won't like." "To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "Have you ever tried strawberry before?" "No, I haven't." "What? Are you kidding? Strawberry is one of the best flavors." "To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." I offered him my strawberry cone. "Just try it." "To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "Why not?" He leaned down to get a taste of my ice cream, but before he could try it I shoved it up onto his face. I laughed when I saw the ice cream smeared on his nose. "So you want to play dirty? Princess, I can play that way too." He swiftly pushed me down and tried to hit me with his cone, but I quickly caught his hand. "I stopped you. You sure about that?" I looked up to his hand to see the ice cream wasn't there anymore. I gasped when I felt a coolness on my face and looked down to see that his ice cream was now smeared on my face. "You meanie." He laughed. "It's a good look on you." "Princess." I took the cone off of my face and shoved it onto his, except it was on his forehead this time. I was the one laughing now. "I didn't know you were a unicorn." "Unicorn? I think you mean Pegasus," he replied with a grin. "My apologies. So how rude of me." He chuckled and took off the cone from his face. "I think we made a mess," he confessed. "You think?" "We definitely did." He smiled and said, "That's true. You look adorable even with ice cream on your face." My embarrassment quickly showed itself on my face. I tried to say something in return but was left speechless. Luckily it didn't seem like he noticed. Daniel unexpectedly pulled his shirt over his head. "Hey, what are you doing?" I looked around. There's kids nearby. They won't see anything. We don't have anything to clean up with. So this will do. He gently wiped my face with his shirt, then proceeded to cleaning himself. Oh, that was a nice top. I could barely breathe in it. I hated it. "Of course you did." He tossed it aside and said, "Feels so much better without it." "Yeah, but now you're flashing all the poor children here and anyone who walks by." Enthusiasm, and shook my head in disappointment. "Oh, you still have some on your face." "I do." He leaned down and kissed the corner of my lip. "You're right. Strawberry is good." He kept his face close to mine as he looked into my eyes. I didn't even have any on my face. Did I? Of course you did. And I selflessly removed it for you. He insisted, a smile on his face. Whatever. Now let me give you an actual kiss, he muttered before leaning down and pressing his lips onto mine. I responded immediately and brought my hands up to the back of his neck, where I played with the ends of his hair. The kiss was sweet, the taste of his cookies and cream flavor was strong. My hands slowly traveled down his bare back, but he pulled away quickly. Don't think it's safe for you to do that. He spoke in a low voice. Oh, sorry. I apologized and quickly pulled away. I touched him subconsciously, forgetting the effects the mate bond would have on us. With every day that I spend with him, I feel closer to him, but I also feel it wanting us to complete the mating process. No, I'm sorry. My wolf has been pushing me to mark you, so something as simple as that riled him up. I understand, but it's okay for you to mark me. His eyes widened slightly. Are you sure? He asked, surprised. I nodded. I know that. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I acted like I wanted nothing to do with you, but that's not the case and I'm sorry for that. Now that I've been spending more time with you, I realized that I actually really like you. I looked away from Daniel. I hadn't realized it while I was saying everything, but my heart space had picked up, leaving me with an unsettling nervousness and embarrassment. I felt Daniel's lips press against my forehead. I looked up at him to see him smiling. Thank you. I like you very much, too. I know we had a rough start, but we can move past that. We're together now and that's all that matters. He wrapped an arm around my shoulder and pulled me towards him, snuggling me into his side. I was content at this moment, with Daniel by my side under the warm sun. You know, this would be nice and slightly less awkward if you had a shirt on. My head moved slightly against his chest as he chuckled. Whose fault do you think that is? Hey, you're either one who ripped it off and said, we don't have anything else to clean up with. I said mockingly. But who's the one who made me wear it? Hey, I saw you add some swing to your hips while wearing the skirt. Don't act like you didn't enjoy it at least a little bit. Okay. I have to admit my boys have a little more breathing room, but do you know how embarrassing this is? Deal with it. Loser, I said jokingly. He chuckled softly. Mom, look. A shirtless granny. Dominic, the lady who I'm assuming to be the little boy's mother, whisper, shouted as she hurried her child along the pathway near us. After they had passed, I let out the laugh I was trying to hold in. I jokingly said, cheers on to you. Very funny, he said sarcastically. Hey, at least he didn't take a picture. Yeah, that's true. We should go back to the pack house now. Apparently it's not okay to be shirtless in public. Really? Who would offer? Returning his sarcasm from earlier. Come on. We can go back home and watch that movie, he said as he stood up, helping me get to my feet. Okay, let's go. Chapter 23, Revelation. I looked around the hallway, searching for a certain someone. Sessions were about to start, and Daniel headed to his class not too long ago. He knew what I was up against. He knew Carly was a human, and he knew that she had seen me shift. I could tell he was attempting to comfort me earlier. He could imagine the storm I would encounter once I came face to face with Carly. Daniel was trying to be supportive, yet he knew this was something I had to do myself. Earlier, I had peeped through our classroom door's glass window. However, she wasn't inside yet. After waiting a couple minutes, I decided to look around for the blockhead I call my friend. Thinking back to that night, I realized just how lucky I was that I didn't hurt her. Or perhaps not a matter of luck, but rather a good thing Daniel was able to stop me. I was able to keep my mind off the situation the past few days. But it was time to face reality. I had no idea what would go down. Would she be scared and call me a monster? Would she be too scared to even speak with me? Or would she accept me for who I am? I checked the time, but class was getting ready to start. I gave up my search in the halls and made my way to math class. As I walked in, My eyes immediately traveled to Carly's seat, only to find it empty. This came as a surprise to me, causing my thoughts to run wild. Where was she? Did something happen to her? Was she avoiding me? Was she safe? I walked over to my seat, only to find Julian eyeing me suspiciously. After I sat down, he commented, "That's weird. That Carly's not with you. I mean," I asked in response. "Yeah, you guys are always together. Did you guys get into a fight or something?" "No, we didn't get into a fight," I plainly stated. "Well, not exactly. Whatever you say." Munkin. He turned his attention to the teacher and began to copy math problems into his notebook. I hadn't realized when the teacher had begun class. Half the day had gone by and there was still no sign of Carly. It was now lunchtime, and neither she nor Nathan were at our usual table. Maybe she really didn't come today, but her parents wouldn't let her miss school for no reason. Maybe she's ditching, or maybe something happened to her. I really hope it's not the last one. But Nathan isn't at the table either. He might be in the field playing soccer. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nelben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I left the cafeteria and decided not to get any lunch today. I was really hungry anyways. As I wandered around the school, I realized how loud it really was. Background conversations, strong laughter, people yelling at each other. It was deafening and irksome. I turned around and started making my way to the outside area of the school. The cool breeze hit my face immediately after I opened the door. I looked up and realized it was cloudy. It didn't seem like it was going to rain, but the sky was grey and the strong breeze would occasionally dislocate leaves from under their respective trees. I remembered a spot me and Carly used to hang out at during lunch in our freshman year. There wasn't many people around, which was why we would hang out there. But soon we discovered why there was no one around. This tree housed over 5 bird nests. One day, Carly was being particularly loud and energetic. She was yelling random words into the air and was kicking at a tree. The birds must have gotten scared or thought we were a threat because within seconds, one of them came flying at Carly. I remember thinking it was raining, but when I realized what it really was, I almost screamed. Carly was the one who had it worse. Though not only was she covered in bird shit, but she was getting attacked by a bird as well. That was the last day we ever visited that spot. I wonder if the bird nests are still there. I stepped over a branch as I approached the tree, but froze once I realized the people under the tree. Two familiar people. They were facing away from me, but I could immediately tell who they were. Carly and Nathan were talking. Something about chocolate cake. Nathan flicked Carly's forehead and said, "Obviously vanilla is the best. Chocolate cake is too chocolatey. Duh, that's the point of chocolate cake. And don't call me an idiot." I couldn't quite tell what it was, but they seemed closer. It's hard to say, but for some time things were awkward between them and I don't know why. Now it's like that awkwardness is gone and they are closer because of it. After some time, I decided to finally say something. I had to muster up the courage and avoid overthinking, but I had no clue how things were gonna turn out. "Hey, Carly," I said awkwardly. "And hey, Nathan." I didn't realize when, but my hand made its way to the back of my neck, rubbing it sheepishly. Carly and Nathan both stopped talking and turned to me immediately. For the first time since I met them, I couldn't tell what they were thinking. Their eyes burned holes through me. Their gaze welcomed. Carly stood frozen in place, looking at me with eyes that held no emotion. A shiver went down my spine seeing her like this. No matter how bad our arguments got, no matter how bad anyone ever angered her, she had never looked at anyone that way. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nelben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. My heart sank at the look she was giving me. My spirit died in that very second. The urge to just walk away so I wouldn't have to face her was strong, but I remained where I stood. While Carly didn't react, except through her expressionless gaze, Nathan did. He shot up and stormed up to me. "Lauren, what the hell?" Anger amidst the depths of his blue eyes. Then, Into my mind came the possibility that she may have told him my secret, that she may have told others my secret. Would she do that? I didn't know if she would, and in turn didn't know what to expect. I didn't know just how much she had told Nathan. To my agent extraordinaire, wildest, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She was with him that night, and I don't know was gone. What the hell did you do to her? He continued to yell at me. Having one of my best friends be angry at me like this made it difficult to answer. I couldn't bring myself to say anything, so he continued. Do you know how much of a mess she was when I found her? She was crying, mumbling things I didn't even understand. All I did understand was your name, and that you left. So tell me, Lauren, what did you do? I swear if this has to do with that one bonehead who you were with, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. Nathan was ranting, releasing his anger. Carly carefully stood up and placed a hand on his shoulder. Calmly, she responded to his outburst. Nathan, I think I need to talk with Lauren. So can you leave us alone? Wait, Carly. Are you sure? Yeah. He looked at Carly, then back at me. Without a word, he gathered his things and swung his backpack over his shoulder. Reluctantly, he walked away, leaving me and Carly alone. There was an uncomfortable silence, something rare for Carly and I. She wasn't her usual, energetic self, rather. She was unusually silent. I waited for her to speak, but the loud silence was gnawing at my heart. It was accompanied by thousands of painful thoughts and situations where this would end horribly. Finally, I mustered the courage to break the silence. Carly, look. You what? She interrupted. Lauren, you turned into a freaking dog, wolf, whatever you call it thing. Carly, please let me explain what that was. She narrowed her eyes at me. I continued. I was born a different species than you, than your family, than Nathan. It comes with many responsibilities. We have abilities that allow us to do things humans can't. On top of that, we have a different culture. She started, but paused for a few seconds. So you mean to tell me that this entire time I've known you, you couldn't think to tell me? Her volume increased the more she spoke, shocking me at first. It's not that simple. I know. Whatever circumstances, you may have no excuse to keep something so big from me. I trusted you. I let you into my home. I made you part of my family. Her voice began to falter at the end, breaking slightly. Slowly, tears began to gather at the brims of her eyes, that I refused to release them. You had the chance to tell me, but guess what? You never did. Carly, I'm so sorry. My voice faltered. My throat clenched, a burning sensation hindering my speech. My mind searched for what to say to alleviate the situation, to keep her by my side. But she was right. There was no excuse. Sure, I had my reasons, but I should have realized that it was wrong not to tell her. On top of that, there was something else you kept from me. I knew exactly what I was talking about. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't want to hurt you. It almost frightened me when she smiled suddenly. You didn't want to hurt me. What a good job you did. How her words cut into me, tormenting my guilty heart. To my agent extraordinaire, wildest, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But I knew how you felt. I could care less about him. It's the fact that you made me think he actually liked me, or you had something going on with him behind my back. You led me on like a damn idiot, making me think I had a chance. If you had told me, God knows I would have let you have him. So why? Why did you play with my feelings? Her last words were both of our breaking points. I watched as a tear slowly left her sad eyes and traveled down her face. She quickly turned to pick up her belongings from under the tree. Without looking back, she stormed off, taking a piece of me with her. Chapter 24 lost. My mind struggled to process the events that had just occurred. My lively friend was acting cold, looking at me as if I were a stranger. I had a hard time believing that the friendship that saved me years ago was now over. I don't know how long I stood there for. running my mind over the thought of losing everything Evie held dear for the past couple of years. I not only lost my two best friends, but the family that took me in when I had nowhere else to go. I realized that the bell was ringing, signaling that lunch was over. However, I had no urge to go to class, as my mind began to go numb. Irrational ideas entered my head. I looked to the tall, black fence outlining the school. With my abilities, it looked like an easy enough jump. After ensuring nobody was around, I looked up at the fence that towered above me. I took a stance where I planted my feet onto the ground before springing up, hanging on tightly to the rusty metal bars. I used my strength to pull myself up and climb the rest of its height. Once I reached the top, I swung one leg over the fence. I did the same with the other, except this time I underestimated the fence's height. The prickly tip of the wired fence cut through my jeans, drawing blood from the lower part of my leg. I watched it begin to pool, then drip onto the grass many feet below me, ignoring the stinging sensation on my leg. I jumped from the top of the fence. However, I also failed the landing. Jumping incorrectly caused my weight to shift to one side, rather than land on my feet. My left side crashed onto the soil. Quickly it began to ache and, despite my fast healing, a bruise would definitely form. I lay on the muddy soil. What's wrong with me? I realized I was unable to function properly. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I had lost everything all at once. Well, not exactly everything. I had Daniel. The reminder of his warmth drew a slight smile on my lips. For a while it felt like I was stuck in between. My mate. My best friend. I could only have one. So which was the right choice? In the beginning, I chose my best friend. But I couldn't stay away from my mate for long. There was no escaping our eternal bond, except by the drastic means of rejection which I was not willing to take. I carefully stood from where I lay on the ground. The pain from my side and my cut were making it slightly difficult. However, the pain wasn't unbearable. After days of silence, there was a familiar voice in my head. Why are we in pain? My wolf asked, as if she had been gone for days. Where do you go? Been recovering. It's likely from the forced shit. Makes sense. It must be taken a toll on her. I carefully got up, despite the aches in my body telling me to do otherwise. With my healing, the pain shouldn't last too long. I didn't know where to go right now. I could no longer go to Carly's house. I couldn't go to Daniel at the moment. I started walking. To where? I have no clue. As I walked, everything started running through my head the past few weeks. Everything I've lost and gained. I noticed I've changed a bit. Even the way my life has changed. I do different things. I think different things. I feel different things. A lot of change was brought into my life. Was all of it a good thing? I instinctively let my feet carry me. And when I pulled my head out of my thoughts, I realized that I was outside Carly's house. Obviously she wasn't home. And looking at it now, I no longer felt welcome. I wonder what they must think of me now. I kept walking down until I was in front of my house. Funny enough, that didn't sound right. It was my house. It was Raphael's house, which used to belong to my parents. I was thinking much before I went in. I carefully opened the door, hoping he wasn't inside. I used to be terrified of him, but now I found myself to be less scared. I peeked inside, only to find the living room empty. Thankfully, his scent wasn't anywhere around the house. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylan Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I decided I should take most of my things while I was here. I didn't plan to be coming back anytime soon. Quickly, I made my way up the stairs and went to my room. I stopped at the door for a second. I haven't been here in ages. After scanning my room, I quickly went to the closet and found a large white duffel bag I used to keep my art materials. As much as I would love to take all of these, there's more important stuff to take. I quickly emptied it and started filling it with clothes on my hangers. After I had filled most of it, I went around looking for the valuable items to me. First was a frame with a picture of me and my parents about 2 weeks before their accident. Then a picture of me and Cardi when we were 15, which brought a wave of sadness upon me. I got my charger and a sketchbook with a box of my most basic art supplies. I was about to turn around and head to the bathroom to get my toiletry and other items when a pair of hands gripped onto my neck. My eyes widened and I found myself gasping for air. I turned as much as I could and saw a Phi-L with bloodlust written all over his face. His eyes were wild and filled with anger. His mouth was formed into a scowl. His eyebrows were furrowed so deeply that he looked like the red angry bird. How did I not smell him come in? Why does he have no scent right now? I fought back, attempted to punch him, to kick him, but it was difficult. He had the advantage over me. When I finally landed a kick, he threw me roughly to the bed, where I desperately coughed for air. Hurry, get up and fight, Alex growled. He didn't give me time to recover. Before I could do anything, I felt a strong pain on my jaw. His fist struck my face with great impact that I wasn't sure if my jaw was broken or not. Immediately after, he landed a punch on my side where I had fallen earlier, causing me to roll over in pain. Fight back, Alex growled, losing patience with me. This is what you get for feeling like that. He punched my side, for disappearing for weeks. His hand its way to my neck once again, where he squeezed slowly. For being a fucking whore. He yanked my hair, putting my head back. He didn't stop. Each punch was more painful than the previous one. I tried to kick him, but he caught my leg and swung me onto the floor, hitting my head on the cabinet. I felt myself losing consciousness. I felt too weak to move, but I knew I couldn't just lay here and let myself get killed. I stumbled while trying to get up. He quickly came to me, menacingly. Where do you think you're going? I faintly saw him pull something out from his back pocket. I couldn't tell what it was at first until it unfolded to reveal a blade. My breath caught and I felt myself regain some consciousness. He attempted to jab the pocket knife into my stomach, but I used all my strength to jump out of the way. I collapsed onto the floor, telling myself to keep fighting even when multiple aching pains throughout my body were holding me down. That's it. I'm shifting whether you want me to or not. I wasn't in the position to fight back, so I didn't argue with her. But there was an issue. Lauren, why can't I shift? My body gave out once the sharp and painful object tore through my leg. I cried out in pain, tears spilling out of my eyes at the immense pain. This will teach you to stop being a bitchy little girl. He shouted at the top of his lungs with overflowing anger, unlike anything I've ever seen from him before. I was beginning to black out. But still I attempted to stand up, to accomplish who knows what. I felt myself being forcefully picked up. Next thing I knew, the feeling of his arms on my skin disappeared. I felt like I was flying, but everything was already black. There was a loud crashing sound with 1,000 sharp pains all over my arms and legs. My body crashed onto something extremely hard as a violent impact stole away my consciousness. Chapter 25 Wounded Anthony. I waited for my friend to arrive, but he never did. If he was going to show up, he should have just told me. We agreed to study at his apartment for the big test we're gonna have on Monday, and he was supposed to give me a ride 30 minutes ago, but he never showed. Guess in walking then. As I passed Lauren's house, I wondered what happened there that her so scared when she was little. I despised her uncle. I knew he was the one treating her like that. I never took action. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I stopped when I heard noise coming from the house. It wasn't just any noise. Something wasn't right. On top of that, it was coming from Lauren's room. Lauren, running towards the front door only for it to be locked. I backed up and charged, striking the door with my shoulder. It didn't open, but my shoulder hurt really bad. I heard Lauren scream, which set my heart racing. No. Her piece of shit uncle better not be hurting her. Anger was coursing through my veins. The need to protect her came back. All I could think about was saving her. I ignored the pain in my shoulder and continuously rammed into the door with my shoulder. I swear I dislocated something because that hurt like a bitch. Opened. Damn it. Just then, I heard glass breaking and my head shot up. My eyes widened and mouth fell open as I witnessed Lauren crash onto the ground. Her arms and legs were bleeding. Her face was red and swollen. And dear God, her leg was bleeding. Lauren. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. I scrambled to her and dropped onto the cement beside her. I pulled her into my arms and frightfully looked for a pulse. I found one. A faint one. I held her close to me as I fought back tears. With a breaking voice. Lauren, what did he do to you? I quickly pulled out my phone and called the only Paul in this situation. I impatiently waited for him to answer, rapidly tapping my foot on the ground. Hello. What took you so damn long? I need you to come pick me up. Hurry, there's not much time to explain, I just need you to hurry. Please. Go to the corner at the end of my street. Please hurry. I frantically said into the phone. Well. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Calm down, dude. Tell me what's going on and slow down. Just come. Damn it. Hurry. On my way, he said and cut the call. I carefully picked up Lauren and stood up. I began to walk down the street, not wanting that bastard to come for her. I reached the corner and cursed when he still hadn't arrived. I was constantly looking behind me, scared her uncle would come from behind us. Then I saw him. He was enraged, covered in her blood. What a despicable monster he was. He was in a hurry coming towards us. It looked like I was his prey and he was taking his time, knowing he would catch me. I cursed under my breath. Put her down and you won't get hurt. He spoke in a threatening voice. No way in hell. I replied through gritted teeth. I heard a screech and looked in front of me to see Jason looking at me with a surprised yet scared face. Hop in. Get back here, her uncle said before charging towards the car at an incredible speed. I quickly ran to the back seat with Lauren in my arms. Before I could even close the door, Jason took off. He chased us for a good length, but Jason sped up and we lost him. I sighed in relief and ran a hand through my hair now that we were safe. Fuck, man. What the hell is going on? I looked down at Lauren and gently brushed a strand of hair away from her swollen face. My heart ached seeing her like this. He did this to her. I said quietly. He nearly killed her. I'm sorry. I didn't know who to call. You're a werewolf, so I thought maybe you could help. I'm not a doctor, man, but I know a thing or two. You'll see what I can do. The whole car ride, I prayed she would turn out okay, that she would hold on. We took the back door to his dorm where there is usually not that many people. And luckily there was an activity in the auditorium for those who were not in class, so we didn't encounter any people. We made it to his dorm. He locked the door while I placed her on his bed. I keeled down beside her and gently stroked her hair. What do we do? How do we help her? My voice slightly shaky. First of all, I'm going to need you to take off her shirt and jeans so we can disinfect her wounds. I have some rubbing alcohol. I don't know how to do stitches for her leg, but I can't treat her other wounds. He said quickly. Watch a YouTube video or something. Do you really want me to risk her life on a YouTube video? Yeah, I guess not. What if we take her to a hospital? Dude, she's a werewolf. I don't think I have to say any more. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Yeah, just thought I should ask. Remove her clothes. You'll get the supplies. I tore her shirt, exposing her black undergarments and chest. Her mate would kill me for this. At the moment, I was thinking any bad thoughts. It was just wrong. The only thing I could feel was worry. I looked at her jeans but didn't think I could do the same. The material was too thick. I could take them off but risk making her wound worse. When Jason came back with the supplies, can I get some help with the jeans? Sure. He put the stuff down and tore the left side of her jeans. which was the one that had, by the looks of it, been stabbed. Go wash your hands, Anthony. Don't want anything getting infected. I stood up and quickly went over to his bathroom and washed my hands, splashing some water on my face as well. I made it back quickly. While I'd read this. Get some rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab and dab it onto the swelling areas on her face. I nodded and did as he instructed. My eyes traveled down to her neck, where red marks were slowly darkening. God, what did he do to you? After I finished, I grabbed a towel and gently placed it over her stomach, followed by an ice pack. I watched as he placed a cloth over her leg and applied pressure so more blood wouldn't come out. He looked at me and pointed to a small jar. Applied it to her wounds carefully. I did as he said and opened the jar to reveal a yellowish cream. After applying some on my fingers, I gently rubbed some onto her face. Soon enough, we finished everything he suggested. This is all we can do for now. Will it work? We have quick healing. These wounds shouldn't last long. But what do we do about her? She can't exactly stay here. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobin, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I can't take her home. My sister's heart will break if she sees her like this. Does she have a mate? Yes. I think it's best to take her with him. And maybe he can take her to the pack doctor to get those wounds seriously checked out. We can't move her like this, though. And to be honest, I wanted her to be somewhere where I could watch over her. You're right. Okay. I'll let her stay for tonight meanwhile she gets better, but tomorrow we're finding her mate. Thank you. I gave him a small smile. I guess I'll go crash at David's. Feel free to take anything in the fridge. You're eating already. We were supposed to meet at his place to study, remember? I'll head over and just stay over there. Call me if anything happens. Feel free to give her a change of my clothes. And don't worry, I'll pass you the notes. He picked up his backpack and headed for the door. Before he left, take care of her, but not too well. She has a mate. He closed the door. Then there was silence. I have a feeling he left because he doesn't want much to do with this. And I understand that. I'm not sure if he would get in trouble with his pack, but I don't want to burden him with anything. I turned my attention to the girl beside me. I gently checked her pulse, which was way better than when I found her. Please get better soon, I softly said as I brought my face closer to hers. For the second time in my life, I pressed my lips against her soft face, lingering for a few seconds before I pulled away from her cheek. I hope that was okay. Not that I'll ever tell anyone about it.